Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Studio once again. And we're still discovering for some rooms in Comic Studio as we welcome back to do this as well. We still managed that we actually going to be doing this until the next video, but I'm fairly that we're going to be using for the Neptunian rooms first before the R section is going to be on to the next video. So, into our next 2 days, we're going to be seeing for the Unbounded Rooms Comic Studio this Halloween. So, actually, that we have done this, that reviewing for 5 comic studios, including the Ohio Insanely Comic Studio as well. So, even before this, let's get straight into Neptunian Rooms Comic Studio. Here we go. Let's going for round for some sort of start as well, and let's turn up some spoilers on, and we're starting in a round of characters. And you see with those categories, they are nothing as well. So even it's not gonna be actually for one thing as well. So starting with actually as monsters, including the fish, those monsters were insanity of those beasts as well. The room limit is 700, and the updates to this section added a 100. So even though it wasn't going to be working anymore, or something is actually going to be doing this as well, so even though that isn't going to be such as other kinds of things isn't just existed, except even Roblox items even possible as well. So the Neptunian rooms, and it was probably, I'm not very sure, this isn't going to be for one itself, and I cannot believe this isn't nothing that I'm just going to be using for this only welcome stage. So this is the welcome stage for the Neptunian note as well, and joining as well. So this is actually for the welcome note as well. Even it's actually for reapply to join in a month as well. So looks like this is actually for some sort of words, and it's actually was probably to do this in multiple of those things as well. So even for its final date as well, it's actually going to be for, you can put your name here, and section is over here, and the date that you join as well. And because to follow the rules is actually checked, joining as well, fan games as well, and why wouldn't you join there as well. And the next one is actually going to be for the warning note, which is actually going to be shocking you like instantly as well. So even that it says to do this as subject for warning notice as well, even this is actually for the determined behavior has been for ruling for to do this as well. So this is the staff date, reason to do this, and offensive items. So even that I'm just going to be reading here, and probably you might able to be kicked out very soon as well. And finally, this is where you kicked out and no longer able to come in, and it was the granted denied and about for this thing as well. So instead of twice a week, but unfortunately it's actually going to be for one reason for 1 year. So this is a kicked out note, and probably that it's actually for the behavior for to do this as well. So the date was actually not going to do this as well. And finally, you're never going to be getting back ourselves every year. And the reason for this final warning and the offensive item as well, that something is actually for one thing as well. So to may return isn't going to be for such as one thing, or you may return or may not return for, even it's actually going to be for that applies you to the entry, or the entity is nothing as actually going to do this as well. If you think this is actually going to do this for this notice as well to be appeal, if something is actually going to come back early, appeal for the last time, or not welcome note as well, even for to do this, it is not going to be doing this anymore for about even years. And so that's all the warnings about of those things as well. And what about the others in the OC? I'm not very sure. This is actually inside of the game as well. So the characters were even for some sort of monsters. So looks like I'm probably very not sure. This isn't going to be for such as rooms as we're started here. The A001. So this is actually going to be for the Neptunian rooms. So this is actually for the entry stage. So even this is actually going to be for one thing as well. So this is actually for in Roblox for one thing. So there must be the exit as well. So it's gonna be another one in the A103. So A003, and it's actually A006, and it's come around for around the summer rules. So overall, it's actually needed for one more, and there is the exit around of this thing as well. So the other kinds of backgrounds were only for one of their things as well. So I'm not sure. There aren't like any about of those things like ourselves. And it's actually nothing as well. So even though this is actually going to be for, and the final actually thing is the OCs. And because of those kinds of monsters look like this, even it's exactly like those crazy cursed beasts, as I'm not very sure that was some kind of monsters as well. Starting with the A-15. And what name is this? A-60. The A-60, the A-100, A-135, A-200, A-336, and the A-355. So, that was all the characters that we came from, but I don't need to seem that we're gonna be added for any characters as well. So, we're actually going to be finding somewhere else, as we're keeping using Cookie Run Comic Studio for this, for some sort of studio crossovers for many more couple of reasons. So, let's add one of these characters, and I'll be right back of today's video. Once we added characters from Cookie Run, including Cozy Cafe around here as well. So even though that was expected to be added for a little bit more, and as you can see here, Neptunian Rooms is owned by A-270. So actually, that was actually isn't going to be for all of this thing as well. So interminable rooms like these, and finally now come up with a twist. So as we've seen these results, that we just got anything but OC characters from their side, the whole bunch of females around here. It wasn't like just a lot in Neptunian rooms, like therefore, even though that wasn't going to be for such as an easy time as well. So nothing for more rooms, like ever since what is coming away for to do this as well. The first thing we added for one thing as well, we added Kamiho cookie, including the dinosaur cookie, and then for actually as for the vampire cookie and the coffee cookie around here as well. That she was pretty mad by bringing some drinks at the Neptunian rooms, even though that wasn't for just like the case that we didn't actually heard from the rules like there. I wasn't probably in the game anymore, but since that wasn't going to be for such as one thing as well, and probably like over 20 minutes as well, even for it's actually 17 minutes ago, or even 15 minutes ago, like 16 minutes like there or something as well. So before we're gonna be end of this video, that something is actually that we just completely forgot what I just expected to say this, that owned by something as well, or that I just forgot to notice about in this last video. Anyways, that is the end of this video for something like else, unless we didn't searching for the V section as well, or the base section is actually this one as well. So I never forgot, like, actually is to do this as well, that since this is the cancelled, but now they're rottening as well, that since that actually as well in this last video. And anyways, that could be the end of this video for sure. And we probably think this is gonna be also age of 18 viewers, but not using for any couple of characters or couple of characters like these. So even like couple of characters for their faces were monsters, which means you should not able to suppose that you're gonna be avoiding for those the characters as well, and start using studio crossovers as probably Cookie Run and Puya Puya like themselves, Cozy Cafe, and Scruffiest Comic Studio like these, and much more at these times as Total Drama Island as well. So thanks for watching, for all your support, and don't forget the link is going to be in description below, including for the main website as well. And I'll be see you in one more video to go, and that's it, as I'll be signing off as well.